So sometimes the person won't bounce back, they'll just not push anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they'll just slide off, and that's fine too. So it's great for video. If I do that and you go bouncing backwards and it looks really dramatic. And if at one point you can just go off camera and say, I can see my house from here. When you do it right, you can't feel it. It doesn't feel like you did anything. And there will be two responses to the person who's doing this. Can we do that again? So, one person has to be not doing Tai Chi.
Yeah.
The person is pushing.
It, yeah.
That's why I picked it. Yeah. So Boris was doing it, was getting the surface area smaller and smaller and smaller, and then Ellie was doing the same thing but internally. So she was doing it inside, so nothing was happening to her. And she wasn't going anywhere. So, but normally, if you're just leaning and you push hard enough that I can feel the pressure building up, I can feel that line, and then I make that line smaller and smaller and smaller, then that's one thing that'll happen. I notice how I'm not pushing him, I'm not bouncing him back, I'm not doing anything with my legs. I'm just reducing the surface area as he leans on me, and as I reduce the surface area, he moves.
But why does the angle change? Why doesn't it just go
because
straight
his
up?
angle is
Because his feet are this way, and his hand is here, and it's
So it's already pushing like this.
because it goes up my arm,
So it
into my feet like that, and now I reduce the surface area in it. So the direction of his push will determine it. But there are two major, until I met you guys, there were only two ways that people would respond. But one is when you push like that, one is if I do that, you might relax and then just neutralize. So sometimes the person won't bounce back, they'll just not push anymore.
Okay.
And they'll just slide off, and that's fine too. So it's great for video. If I do that one surface area and I reduce it, and you go bouncing backwards and it looks really dramatic. And if at one point you can just go off camera and say, I can see my house from here. Because as I reduce the surface area, he's reducing the surface area, whether he's thinking about it or not. So I might get to the point where I thought I've done it, I've reduced the surface area. But you can go just a little bit more than he does, and then it moves. So as it gets closer and closer to nothing, the smallest advantage makes more of a difference. When it's when there's still a lot of surface area, I have to make a big change for it to make a difference. But as we both reduce the surface area, then eventually it's suddenly, oh, there, I got it. Okay? See how you just make that switch? You just have to get over the line. It's like you put your hand on top of my hand. Like that, but at this level. I'm trying to get just a little bit on the other side. I'm trying to get him off my center, so I'm on his center. He's trying to get me off his center, so he's on my center. And so push hand starts out, this big thing like that, and then it becomes that. Okay? And that looks like I'm using my chi. And I am. That's but
Exactly.
I'm still alive. So yes, so I'm using it. But what's happening is subtle, right? There's a big difference between. Okay, there's a subtle difference. No, there's a big difference between subtle and profound, right? So you have the sort of the mundane, ordinary stuff. Then it gets more and more subtle, and then it becomes profound, and then it becomes mysterious. That was I think it was Yang Yang who said that. He's a Chen style guy named Yang.